So guys, welcome back to another video and welcome to something a little bit different today. We are going to be discussing some icons and more specifically we're going to discuss some quote-unquote cheap ones who I think you should try out if you haven't already. If you need to get your hands on some coins to improve your ultimate team, then check out the link in the description, igvault.com, and if you use the code Kieran at checkout, you'll get yourself a pretty nice discount. Now, the title of this video is of course the best cheap icons that you should try. Now, cheap is, you know, a bit of a relative term. Obviously, none of these icon cards are like super cheap. Not everyone is going to be able to afford them, but in the grand scheme of things, for icons, they are relatively cheap. They are all under 500k. That is the price limit that I set on this video, so every icon you are about to see is about 500k, and I don't think 500k is that much for someone to attain over a short space of time. So yeah, let's get into this, shall we? But just before we do, if you like this kind of content, please do leave a like rating on it, and maybe I'll do some more videos like this. Also in the comments below, I do want to hear from you guys. Which icon do you think is the best value for money in FIFA 21? 500k limit, remember, let me know in the comments. There is actually one more thing I should point out before we see the players. They're in no particular order, no order at all, so yeah, we're just going to get straight into them. This isn't a top 10, this is just 10 icons who I think are really decent value, or at least worth trying out. So let's begin. We're going to start with Fernando Torres' base icon card. Now, ultimately, it's not, you know, a top tier card, but it's a very, very good icon, and it's a very fun card to use. Obviously, you've got the novelty of it being a new icon into FIFA, and it's also a very effective card in game. I obviously reviewed him not too long ago, and I really enjoyed the item, to be honest. It's a really good card, especially in front of goal. Good pace, nice dribbling, and also really, really strong finishing ability. So if you haven't already, definitely a card worth considering, and it's not costing a lot either. It's a relatively cheap one for an icon, coming in currently at 420k on the PlayStation, so not a bad price tag at all. I don't think so anyway. 4-star, 4-star, also a nice bonus on this item. The next player we're going to discuss is one that is actually very cheap. We have Hierro, and it's his base icon, and this one is costing 260k at the current time. And straight up, I just think it's a really solid centre-back option. It's a really good card. I actually reviewed the Prime icon version of Hierro, which I thought was a fantastic item, and I don't think the base version of him is too far off either. And in previous FIFAs, I've really enjoyed the base version of him. Like, just look at the stats. It's just a really solid centre-back card. His pace is very good. It's not amazing, but if you put a Shadow Chem style on him, that'll obviously help out a lot. He actually has some nice dribbling stats for a centre-back, which definitely can help in some situations, and his long passing also is quite nice, so he can distribute from deep as well, which is great. And positionally, it's a very good card, and defensively, just in one-on-one situations, he's really, really good. So for 260k, don't think you can go too far wrong with this item. Is he great value for money? Not in the grand scheme of things of the game, because players like Joe Gomez and Varane are obviously quite cheap, but if you need an icon to link some players up, this certainly would not be a bad option at all. Now, I was a bit on the fence about putting a goalkeeper into this video because, like, as we all know, some goalkeepers, like, are just horrendous in this game. Like, goalkeepers are such a hit or miss situation. Some people love certain ones, some people hate certain ones, and ultimately I don't think there's a mass difference between, you know, high rated goalkeepers in FIFA 21, but I've thrown check in purely on novelty. Obviously, like I touched on with Torres, he's one of the new icons in the game. He's not too expensive, and he is definitely worth trying. And to be honest, when I used check, he was fairly solid. He was pretty good for me, and did a decent job. Do I think he's brilliant value for money? No, I don't, and that's because it's 350k, but for an icon that's a relatively cheap price. But would I recommend ever spending over 100k on a goalkeeper? Not really, to be honest. Whether it's an icon or not, like, you guys know, goalkeepers in this game are just, yeah, they're hard to explain. They're just not worth spending a lot on, in my opinion. But if you're going to, you may as well try out a new icon, and you may as well try out check. As I say, solid goalkeeper, and worth at least giving a go to. There is a bit of a common theme in this video. A lot of these are obviously newish icons to Ultimate Team, and the next one is no exemption from that rule. We have the baby Ashley Cole, who comes in at just over 300k, and I just think he's a really good left back, to be honest. He's a really good attacking left back as well, so if you like to get forward with your fullbacks, then this is certainly a card that you should consider. And this is another one that I have obviously reviewed, so if you want to go check out any reviews, do check out the channel. A bunch of icons have already been done. Defensively in one-on-one situations, he was really good for me, and just getting up and down the wing, he was just absolutely fantastic at that. As I say, if you like to play attacking with your fullbacks, this is certainly a card to consider. He's very good at getting forward positionally, and also he's very much capable of whipping whipping in a very good delivery into the box. Now it's time to move on to a midfielder, and we have Juan Sebastian Veron, who for me was just a really good card when I used him. Now, once again, is he, you know, an outstanding top tier midfielder? No, but considering his price at just over 300k, I think he's pretty good value, and he is a really, really good centre mid option. He's one of these cards that you're not going to get the most out of him as a defensive mid or as a cam, but if you play with a formation that requires a centre mid, he certainly is a very good option for that role. You put a Shadow Chem style on this guy, and he becomes very well rounded and a very usable item. He was great when I used him, when I reviewed him, thought he was a very solid centre mid. As I say, not a DM or a cam, but as a centre mid, one of the better options that you can pick up, especially in this price range. And obviously a centre mid role is key for chemistry links, so this could certainly be a good card to have in your side. Moving on now to an attacking midfielder option, we have the Mid Haji. He is costing just under 400k. And he's just good. He's just a very, very good creative midfielder. You've obviously got the 4-star, which definitely helps in an attacking role. He's got very nice pace for an attacking mid, really good shooting. I like the shot power on this card a lot. The distribution is very solid, and even on the ball, he's very, very good. The only thing that lets this card down, particularly, is the physical stats. He just doesn't really have the strength to compete, but aside from that, a really good technical card. And if you need a distributor in your team, this is certainly an option. And yeah, just under 400k for a pretty high level distributor is you know, not bad going at all. And he's a bit of a complete attacker as well. As I say, he's got good shooting ability, and his dribbling is also very, very nice. And obviously for a midfielder, he is rather fast too. Talking of attacking midfielders, we now have Prime Nakata to discuss. Now, I know he's a bit of a quote-unquote meme player in Ultimate Team just because, you know, he's one of them players who you're always packing in your icon packs, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He's actually quite good. I actually packed the base icon Nakata at the start of the game in one of the first icon packs, and I've still been using him since. He's very, very good, and he's also, well, not very, very good, but considering, you know, his rating, I think he's good. He performs to a good standard. Prime Nakata is 300k, and it's not a bad card at all. You put a Hunter Chem style on this guy, and it becomes a very, very nice item. Obviously, his dribbling is very good, his distribution is very solid, and his shooting is quite nice as well. So all in all, you get yourself a very solid attacking midfielder card. Like I said, is he top tier? No, but in terms of value for money, certainly isn't a bad option at all. Okay, this next one's a bit interesting. We have Ronald Koeman's mid icon. Now, this one's a bit interesting because I'm not recommending you guys use this guy as a centre-back. I think there are many better centre-back options. However, if you're willing to, you know, do some in-game switches, this Koeman card is absolutely excellent as a CDM, especially with an engine chem style. His stats are just become ridiculous at that point, and in-game he's very effective in that role. He's quick, he's relatively mobile for a defensive player, and his distribution is to a very, very high level, which is great. And obviously defensively, with him being a centre-back, he's also really solid. So as I say, as a CDM, I think he's absolutely brilliant, and he's currently costing just over 400k. So this is one to consider if you start in a 5-back formation and you need, you know, a defensive mid option. If you're going from a 5-back formation into a 4-2-3-1, this is certainly a card to think about. And obviously he does offer some pretty good green links in the game to players like Virgil van Dijk, De Jong, etc. I do have another fullback option in this video, and this is the left back Zambrotte, costing just over 300,000 coins. He does obviously have two other items in the game, but both of them are right backs. But it's his left back card that I think is the best value because it's just a really nice card. Comes with a 5-star weak foot as well, which can certainly help when attacking and also when trying to clear the ball, and also 4-star skill moves, which, to be honest, for me isn't too much use, but for those of you who like to attack with your fullbacks will obviously come in quite handy. He's got really good physicals for a fullback, which I think is one of the biggest positives. High aggression and good strength, which is something that not a lot of fullbacks do have. And defensively, he's also really solid, and he's also got pretty nice dribbling as well. And his passing and distribution in general is also very nice once more for a defender. He actually does have really high level crossing, which is obviously very beneficial to those of you who like to get down the wing with your fullbacks and whip balls into the box. And now we come on to the final icon that we're going to talk about in today's video. It is, of course, the base icon, Pavel Nedved, who just has a really nice card. And he only costs 300k, which is, you know, fairly nice value. I think it's very good value, actually. And one of the best things about this Nedved card is the fact he's, he's just a utility attacker. You can use him off the left, off the right, central. You could even use him at striker if you want to do so, but I definitely feel like a central attacking mid role is the best for him. He's just really good in that role. Comes with that 5-star weak foot as well, which definitely helps out when it comes to passing and shooting, obviously. And he's good on the ball as well. He's just, you know, a really good technical player and could definitely improve some people's sides. As I say, I just love the utility value in this card. You can use him anywhere on the front line, and that is obviously a big bonus. So yeah, wouldn't mind packing, you know, Nedved in a base icon pack if you know, I open another one this year, because as I say, just a really useful item. So guys, there you have it. Those are 10 icons who I think are pretty cheap and good value in FIFA 21, and I do recommend trying out a bunch of them as well, especially the new ones that are, you know, obviously new into FIFA Ultimate Team, your Torres, etc., just because, you know, novelty, like I touched on earlier. Anyway, if you could leave a like rating on this video, that'd be very much appreciated. Let me know if you want to see more content like this, maybe with different price ranges, or maybe you just know, you know, just non-icon players. Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know who you think is a really good value icon. Remember, we have a 500k hypothetical max price, so I keep it under that. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. As I say, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.